showed you how to brace an 8/8 rear end. Also showed you all the parts that I had slamming on it on the table for theatrical reasoning. But a lot has happened since then, and I am going to explain what we did to the car and fade in some videos and some photos for you so you kind of get a good idea like where the car sits now. Since last time, I have taken out this IRS rear end. It was bone stock. It had like 139,000 miles on it. It didn't have any Gucci G-Force axles or some full tilt boogie racer or Max Motorsports bushings that help with the wheel hop. It only had a 373 gear that somebody put back in the day, and it had an upgraded diff cover just to kind of help out with the bracing part of it with a little girdle, whatever. But now that resides at the bottom of the ocean, and it is called shit 60 foot deep. And you could look at it on your little charter map, and it's probably a good artificial reef for some fishes and a boat anchor for somebody, because that's about all it's good for everybody. So I put Gucci stuff back in it, and it's got a solid 8/8 rear axle out of a New Edge GT, and I put a lot of good parts on it, including spherical bushings from UPR, even paint coated match the little braces, as you can see, just to be that petty and be Corvette guy-ish. Anyways, but so since we did that, we had welded in the spring purchase from UPR that helps you adjust the ride height up and down to get you the proper bar angles that you need. I ended up putting in torque boxes, bolted them in, welded them in, took all the stock mounts and squeezed them all together with the new UPR solid bushings and mounts. It does ride like a tank now. Ended up putting an anti-roll bar in there. What else have we did? Oh, and as far as the rear end is concerned, what guts did we put in it? Well, I had multiple choices that I could do, and I will tell it to you. Either I could do a spool, which would have drove like crap on the street. I could have did a Cobra diff or posi. It's like $255 or something like that from Ford Racing. Or I could have done like an Eaton True Track or something like that. So the posi, I know there's guys that have been like low nines on those, you know, and eventually they do end up breaking and you have to put a new one. And it is budget friendly. So if you're looking to get a nice little chunk rear end setup, a Cobra posi from Ford Racing is actually a decent buy and will not break the paint. But I'm a peasant who likes to be a peasant. So I love living in debt with a zero in my bank account. So I bought the Eaton True Track. I ended up putting the Eaton True Track in here. It's worked really great. It's instead of having all the clutches, it's got worm gears that help with the posi. And it is a little bit heavy. So if you're looking at weight reduction, go spool because it is the lightest. But if you're looking for a good street strip kind of deal, either the Cobra posi or the Eaton True Track. And if you really want to get after it, Eaton True Track is what I recommend. So ended up putting all that in there. We really put a lot of budget stuff on this car. So before I get into the testing of this car, which we will have later in this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what we did as far as from back to the front fuel system wise. I took out the stock hat, stock pumps are gone, ended up doing a single 525 Hellcat pump basically. It went to some dash, it went from like some 3/8 line, and Zach stepped it up to a dash 10 line, and it went all the way to the fuel rail, and he made it match up there somehow on the stock fuel rail. It still has stock injectors in this car. And so, let me just take you off of there and show you all what's underneath that hood, because it is a menagerie of a mess. Now, before I go any further into the car and show you how ghetto this car is and what we have rigged up here, the original plan was go with 10 mod nats with a top pulley only car running like low 11s, and that would be about it. Just go have fun with the boys. That's it. I was going to be pretty much tapped out financially wise, and I just didn't want to sink a whole bunch of money into the car, you know, just to go out there and run a mediocre number, you know, and just drain a bank account on it. We're all racers. We know how expensive this sport is. Zach and Heath said, no, we're going to do something here. Now, we're not going to settle for 11. So I got off work one day to go work on the car at the shop, and they both were sitting there and said, hey, we got a plan. You can't say no. This is what we're going to do. I was like, okay, well, what's the plan? So he, through all his years of racing, came up with basically a wet kit from a Fox body from 20 years ago. He pieced together it out of some old dusty cardboard box and said, hey, I got some solenoids, I got some lines, and, I got some jets. We could put a wet kit on this thing and go run a decent time, maybe a low 10. And I was like, okay. I said, well, I still got to figure out the fuel part. Well, Zach said, got that covered. Got some scrap line. I got some, all you got to do is buy like a fuel pump and a few fittings and just work with me here. Buy a fuel pump, fuel fittings, and some relays. That's all I had to do. I was like, okay, this is like $200 worth of parts. I was like, sure. All right. So I went and bought $200 worth of parts. We rigged up a spare parts, fuel system, and nitrous kit. Basically, the nitrous kit, I probably got $50 in. And the fuel system, if you had to buy everything on it, it's like $310. I'm going to explain how we got this rigged up. Here we go. All right, so under here, real janky. It looks pretty pathetic. Stock unported Eaton, top pulley only. There's the bottom ring to prove it. And a little bit of weight reduction. Got a little battery right here. That thing weighs 11 pounds. It's an Odyssey 525 battery. So, from the back, single 525 pump and a stock fuel hat. It's a 3/8 outlet, and it goes from 3/8 on a little block that's meant for a Corvette, and it goes into a dash 10 line that's ran all the way up to the front. It's a scrap line that Zach had lying around, and it comes to a regulator. I paid $200 for that regulator, basically, and that's the only one part I didn't cheap out on that, because that's going to be a one-time buy. That's for the upgraded fuel system I'm going to put in here. Goes to the stock fuel rails. Still got stock injectors. As you can see, they're blue down there. So those are stock 39-pounders. And then from there, it was deadheaded. Well, it was about the biggest fuel pump I could put in it with no check valve and not have any problems with it. But Zach's like, all right, I think I can make a return. So basically what he did was the stock hard line that's underneath it that was for the fuel feed, the stock feed line, we use that for the return line to go back to the tank. Tap the tank, put an A&N fitting in there. So it's 4 innovations all the way up to the front, and then it's the stock A&N stuff to the back. And it was all scrap parts. Zach said he was like $300 worth of parts that he had just lying around. So that's that. All right, let me take off this intake so I can show you what we're working with here. Stock throttle body, no fancy gimmicks. Unported, as you can see, the little screw holes still come down there. I actually ported it too much in the IAC, punched through, as well as there, and it chipped off, so I had to put some JB weld in there and then shape it to the form of the throttle body, but that throttle body is ported. That's the only ported thing, but the blower itself is unported. That blower actually got off a Fox body because I messed up the last port job, but we will redeem myself. Down here, these are old solenoids out of a cardboard box with dust on it from a Fox body from 20 years ago. I actually had to buy a purge solenoid because the original one quit working. It was old NOS solenoid, and these are old NOS solenoids from a Fox body bracket. He actually had to weld some washers together to get them in place. These are some wire loom, some old line. Goes over here to the back of the blower. All right, you got nitrous in one. I don't know which one's which, but nitrous in one and fuel in the other. So wet kit, untuned. We tune it. This is the old school way of tuning this. Is if you were a little lean or a little fat, you adjust the fuel jet. And then it just kind of evened itself out. So I have all that on a full throttle switch over here on the back side. As you can see, hang on, focus. Full throttle. Old school. Some relays so it doesn't activate on the two-step. Focus. And yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Not a whole lot of gimmicks to it. That's an old MSD two-step out of I guess a Marauder build or something like that Zach had from a while back. So he just had that line in a box too. So we just threw it on there. I put some GT500 coil packs in here, which is the same, but it was just more economically, as far as like the price. Pretty much nothing to it. There is a UPR K member under here. It sheds like a whole 72 pounds, I think, off the front end. I think it sheds a little bit more. when I took the stock one out, it was like 107 pounds. I think the one that's under here was like 30 something. I think it was like 32 or 33 pounds, you know, with everything underneath it. But a K member is a good, you know, 70, 80 pounds off the front end. So I highly recommend it. UPR makes a really nice one. So like I said, they're not paying me to tell you any of this stuff. I'm just saying this because it's what works. It's really good quality stuff. Yeah, Magnum transmission, RST 1200 clutch. But this is what's essentially the car is. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, we're going to take it to the track and go test it out.
Well, guys, we're out here at Cottonwood testing. I got the one and only Garrett Leach. Everybody knows how he likes to put the camera in their face after they make a pass. Brian knows best.
We got to hide the goodies. So.
Got to hide the goodies, folks. All right, Garrett, so how was it? Maiden voyage after doing a lot of work, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, sleepless nights.
More tears than anything.
Help from friends. You got a man working there. You got a man helping here.
First pack went okay. Kind of trying to get all my procedures done before the light. So I'm just having to work on getting the rhythm down on that. Took off, felt like it bogged a little bit. Long gear kind of carried on. The first gear felt kind of long carrying out. And I went ahead and short shifted second, but I nailed third. And it felt like a 6-second pass. You know.
Oh, shut up.
So, but they won't give me that credit.
We have some naysayers here on 6-second pass.
So
this time we're gonna turn the draggy on, right?
Yeah, we'll turn the drag on. I don't have a slip, but it was a 6-second pass.
So we're at a no prep event, guys, and so there's no tower working right now. But we're gonna get the draggy on next run.
I'll get the draggy on.
A couple adjustments here to the tamer.
I couldn't get the mount on my window. It kept falling off before the stage and that, so I just left it in the seats.
So we'll get that done before.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so goals for the next pass?
Goals for the next pass, nail second gear optimally, and
get a time.
Yeah, I guess we're going to do another boost pass, and then I didn't have time to watch AFR to see how the tuning was on it. So we're just going to send it and hope for the best.
From there. All right, we'll check back in with you after the next pass.
Yeah.
Heath said the next modification you have to make is the Greg Schroll modification.
The Magna Pack.
Magna Packs. Yeah, that's what's got to go in the car next. That's a must-have. All right, so getting the car ready. Hoping to make a nitrous hit here in a few minutes. Garrett's got his remote bottle warmer, aka Yasko, heating the bottle up. Got the youngins having a good time.
Yeah, football in the spring. Yeah, put football in the spring.
I said you got your remote.
Roll bar delete. It's got to leave hard enough to where it pops the quarter window out.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna unlatch the trunk when you get up there and burn out box. When it launches, I want the trunk.
We want to see the trunk bouncing and hopping all down the track.
All the downforce. That one felt good. You want to guess?
I want to guess.
Guess?
Yeah. You take a guess. I'll take a guess.
687 at 99 or 100.
Hold on. Let me look at his smile first.
It's amazing. Come on, how it pulled it.
Hold on. Let me think. Let me think. I'm gonna go 671 102. 679 102.
679. It went 670 at 103.
Oh, that's money, man.
And it was busted up too because I don't think we got plugs down for the power.
No, it did. I was like, like going down the
Did you get
track.
a chance to look down and see about
11.5. 11.5.
Hey, that's money. So
I happened to peek down right as I went through the traps. It was like, it said 11.5. I was like, okay.
I think we need to get the plugs down. I think
Yeah.
that's what that was.
I think they're at like 28 right now.
how did it feel? How'd the pass feel?
Oh, it felt great. So
Let it 60 foot that time.
151.
Heck
It
yes.
would have been a high 1.4 on the tree. I mean.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I went 151.
It's amazing how much extra power pulled it through the
Yeah,
disc.
there's some improvement I need to do on driving because I gotta get like a shift light or something because that second gear I'm guessing it. I think
Fast on it.
yeah I think I'm shifting like at 6 or 62,
It
but
goes fast.
I'm leaving RPM on the table. But
So what's up next now? We're done for the night. I said we're done for the night.
Yeah, no, we're gonna heat again. We're gonna put a bigger jet in it. So we're gonna go down bottom sixes now. So
Okay, I like
we're gonna
that.
lean it out, so like very far.
I like
I'm
that
just gonna
plan.
go home.
Tighten some things up, button up a few things.
Oh, hold on. Get this. I still have all the seats in the car.
Full interior, guys.
I have left weight in here.
Full interior.
Refine the driver, refine the car.
I even got the spare belt in there. That's like a few grams.
Refine the tune-up, and
It'll get
a
there
650 car.
for sure.
That's all I need. Holly and turbos now.